champion in 3 different games.
I mean, don't target in Champ Select, but in the game itself.
Okay.
Right.
Okay, let's stick to pick and bans first. Let's not get ahead of ourselves
there's
just
the Thresh
yet.
ban.
There is the Thresh ban and the Zed ban, of course. We've seen KaBuM playing that in 2 games so far, despite supposedly not being a Zed player. Maokai and Alistair targeted. We have seen Alistair sneak through a few times for the first time in this tournament today. And Janna also being taken away. So Gorilla really being focused for this matchup.
Yeah, and we can definitely kill the rumor of KaBuM not playing Zed. I mean, it's one of his main champions in Korea.
I know, right?
Absolutely insane on it. He has a small champion pool, but the few champions he does play, he plays them absolutely top class.
All right, so Zed is banned out. So now, Ari and Orianna, the next top 2 for him.
Zilean has snuck through the cracks, and that surely gives Tinowens a sneaky peek. We'll see how that one works out for him. That's been a great champion so far, although actually had a couple of losses today.
Well, again, we have some crazy games where the Zilean, obviously, when you go full late game, the Zilean will kind of fall off in terms of damage, but he's going to bring a lot of utility. What I actually do like for KaBuM is the fact they love the laning phase, and it's where they have to win the game. Now you get the extra experience from the Zilean to maybe get a little advantage and try and snowball.
That would be great for them. Experience boost in the laning phase is very, very good. That is one of the few global passives still in the game. Zilean just holding on to his for as long as he can, but there it is again. Rise up top for save. Lot of carry potential coming from that top lane.
Yeah, that's going to be a real problem. Of course, Nami also locked in for Gorilla, so they are leaving the AD carry choice over to KaBuM. That means that Zephyr will have the choice to go with something to maybe counter it alongside that Nami. We'll see whether he goes with Lucian or Tristan, or even at maybe a Twitch. These obviously played so well throughout those regional qualifiers.
Zephyr is fantastic on Twitch, and he has a bit of a special play style, but we can talk about it if he actually picks it.
I mean, the big champion for him this tournament's been Corki. That's the one he's been
we saw Deft as well with Corki yesterday. I mean, these mid-game power spike AD carries have been really popular. We see Lucian as well winning a lot of games because teams manage to snowball in the mid-game and just keep the lead and close out the game.
Speaking of Lucian, though, that has been a big champion for Minerva, already hovering over Tristo. So heading more towards that late game insurance policy here.
I would have loved a Lucian for him again, but maybe because Stance couldn't actually get his Thresh this time, which they've used together to really dominate the bottom lanes, they decided to go for the Tristana and go for focus more towards the late game.
Well, there's been a lot of pressure on Danagorn throughout this tournament. Obviously, back home, not getting quite the support because he hasn't been performing to his max. He was pressured and pulled from pillar to post, honestly, by Alliance the other day. They were camping out in that top lane on Lep, and every time he came there, it was just a little bit too late.
He seems to just kind of be lacking the overview of where the enemy jungler is or where he wants to gank, which means Danagorn is... It seems like he's always late to the counter gank, and we saw in the first game actually between these two teams, he was just sitting in the top lane, waiting for Watch, but he never showed up, so it didn't actually work for him.
So what he's doing is a lot of guesswork as a jungler, and he's trying to predict where the routes of his enemies are just based on where they've started, but they do need more information for him to work with. They have to get some sort of, deep wards to actually see where the enemy jungler has been making their movements.
And that's where Lee Sin can be a great pick here. He's stronger than the Kha'Zix in the early game. He can go in himself once he gets the side stone, play some deep wards, and try and spot where Watch is moving, and then be ready for this counter game, because Watch is a very aggressive jungler. He wants to be in your face as much as possible.
So third game for Zephyr to be on that Corki. It's worked so well for him. Got some massive scores the other day. It does leave a couple of things open. And Freak called this one out. Lep used to be known as Aurelia. That was his name. And finally, he's actually going to play a champion that he's comfy on instead of that Rumble in the top that he's been effectively forced onto, I feel, due to the popularity in this tournament.
Yeah, we've been waiting for this Aurelia from Lep all tournament long, waiting for him to go back to his namesake. Here they do have it, so this is going to be a good chance for KaBuM. This would be a remarkable upset. If they're able to pull this off, that would even top the craziness of the beginning of the day, and that is saying something.
That would be insane, and they have a great setup here. We have seen this before where you have Aurelia in the top lane, and it's very easy to set up ganks because people now max your E, so you get the longest stun duration. Lee Sin can then come in, and you can actually kill the Ryze. It's a matchup we saw Alliance play earlier, where Wicked was the Aurelia, And obviously he got really, really far ahead compared to Ball, so had to just leave the lane in the end.
Right, she's got this reliable gap closer, and Ryze is always vulnerable to top laners that have enough damage and a reliable gap closer, especially compared or comboed with a jungler like Lee Sin.
I do worry about this bottom lane setup from KaBuM. They shouldn't be able to dominate the lane the same way they've been doing on the Lucian and Thresh we have seen from Dance and Minerva the last few games.
Well, of course, we had the Lulu as the final lock-in as well for Goong in the mid lane, so we'll see how that will work out. I think it's the first Lulu in the mid lane we've seen
actually
throughout this tournament.
He played it when they had Riven top lane as well, against Alliance, actually.
He did. And that didn't work out so well at the start, so we'll see whether this time around Tinones can get a bit of an advantage over the top of him. How do we count these two? How do we see this going? I mean, clearly coming into this one, NaJin White Shield, obviously massive favorites, but we've seen upsets already today.
We have, but for me, it's all about this top lane here. Can you get Lep going on Aurelia so he can take over the game? Then you have a chance, because the bottom lane should be fairly passive in itself.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's just had, as we've said, such a hard group stage so far. That would just do wonders for him mentally. Well,
as the teams do get ready to face off against one another, we want you guys at home to tweet us, #KaBoomWin or #NWSWin. And don't forget to tweet at LOL eSports in there. Otherwise, we won't even see the damn thing. So we'll be checking your responses as soon as this game gets underway. So here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Game 4 here in Singapore on day 3. The groups have been blown wide open this morning. And we'll see whether that trend continues as KaBuM start out on the blue team up against the Korean dominance of NaJin White Shield.
All right, so we talked about this, top lane matchup and how there is kill pressure on this Ryze, especially when you combat with Lee Sin. But if there's no jungler intervention early, Ryze bullies Aurelia really, really hard. So he can push up, and as long as they have backing from Watch or some ward coverage, then don't expect Lep to jump out to an early lead or anything.
It's going to be all about Danagon and where he decides to put his focus. I mean, last time they played each other as well, it was when Danagon was just sitting top lane. He kept running top lane over and over. He can do the same here with the Aurelia pick. And I feel like he has to do it, but he needs to be careful it doesn't become too predictable for both Save and, of course, Watch, and they're ready to turn the gank around.
Well, of course, I'm sure they have a ton of other champions up their sleeves, but why show anything when you don't need to in the groups? When you're already 3-0 up, it's down to the other teams to put the pressure on you, of course. As you mentioned, we will see Alliance facing off against NaJin White Shield, the final game of today, and then Cloud9 have to face them tomorrow. With both of those teams now at 2 apiece, that game will be very important for Alliance. But right here, KaBuM, can they get that first victory on the board? Started out 0-3, not the best, but they are, again, very tough group. I mean, if you look at everything that's out there, effectively the #1 team for Europe, and some would still consider the #1 team for America despite their playoffs.
Well, their lane swap is revealed by that NaJin Shield late ward that they put here. So lane swap and red steel should be pretty even here. NaJin White Shield, since KaBuM have actually started their own red with Danagorn, they might pull off a 3 buff here on Watch, actually. Looks like they've got it pretty cleanly.
So KaBuM here, because again the bottom lane wasn't too strong for them, decided actually to swap it in top lane, so they won't have the kill pressure from the Aurelia. Instead, we have to see how White Shield wants to play this. Gorilla can recall and go top lane here to help save, because there's no freeze actually from KaBuM in this top side, because they're doing red buff.
So it's all in all, it's a good opening here from KaBuM.
Now they've just pinged it. They've only just realized we've lost our red buff. This is going to cause a problem, and like you said, Watch is 3 buffed. We'll see how it works out. Save is now going with that buddy system, so he's going to work alongside him. We do see the support of Dan's. He's backing off, so we'll see if he decides to go down the bottom.
And honestly, we have to commend KaBuM for their opening this game.
Fantastic.
I mean, a lot of people have been talking about the laning phase for them and how they didn't really focus as much on the strategy, but they did a great lane swap. They get Trist out of this Corki lane, and they get Aurelia away from the early range advantage of Ryze. 3 buff start. Everything's coming up KaBuM early in the game. Only thing is, they are shoving up top, so no denial of experience. Whereas down bottom here, it looks like Zepha's got a pretty good handle on that bottom wave, and the wave is going to push towards NaJin White Shield. So that's that denial of experience, and the whole wave actually going to go for Shield.
Yeah, that's a big, big problem for KaBuM here, because Save is going to get all the experience. He's going to get a lot of the farm up there in the top lane, while Leb is forced to stay in the jungle. And that's why when we see this fast push in top lane, teams move up 4 members to the top side and block away like Save and Gorilla in this situation and make sure they can get in and get all this farm.
Right, so what they have to do, since they did decide to go with this swap here and feed the red buff over to Triss for the solo lane, they need to help Aurelia shove this wave all the way into the turret to get it to bounce back and into the middle of the lane.
He's down there very early though, Leb, so he should actually be able to do it himself, or at least get some experience. Minerva though, trading with Save, and he has the red buff.
Dance comes back in, has roamed a heck of a lot in this opening start. Not going to throw anything out towards Gorilla and keep him pressured. Something we have noticed throughout so far, KaBuM's Minerva has actually traded and done very well in lane phases over the last few games.
I have to say though, down bottom, this is going to be a problem. They were not able to shove that wave into the turret, and Zepha's got complete control. We talked about the range advantage of Ryze. Corki is a mage AD carry as well, and he should have a pretty big upper hand over left down there, controlling this wave, keeping it just in front of his turret.
Yeah, both top laners do get a lot of experience here early on, which is the important part in these lane swaps, so none of them should be too unhappy. It's just the fact Save at his top lane, he got the first wave. He's managed to go back now, get his tier already, and teleport back to lane, and nobody's denying him any farm. That is a big problem for KaBuM, and obviously one of the reasons the lane swap was to try and deny Save a lot of this farm here, but they should have been there with the jungler, with the top lane as well, and make sure they could zone Gorilla and Save away from this tower from the start.
Plus, Save is getting gold, not just experience here. Aurelia is having a hard time getting that gold as far as the CS is concerned. Once again, though, they call Danagorn down bottom, trying to help out with the situation. Finally, it's pushing back towards left.
We'll see whether he comes across. Watch is there. It is only a level 4. He's just hit. Lep's still getting the experience, though. He's not being completely kept away. He's going to pick himself up a gigantic wave here, so that should chain him up to 5. But Watch comes around, clears out the wave. He's going to get claps on here. Danagorn and Tinones both coming towards him. Tinones speeds himself up, but doesn't choose to go for the kill.
So Watch actually moved down to this bottom lane because one maybe had an option to dive onto Leb and kill him and make him lose all the farm here, or he was just ready for a counter gank in case Danagorn was there, because Zeph had pushed the lane all the way up to the tower here. But because he didn't have any vision of the enemy jungler, decided to play it safe and just run straight up mid lane here and find the pink ward.
He had to abort that mission of killing the pink ward, though, obviously because his mid laner is not there to support. Oh, tower down!
Oh, Say's in trouble. He could go down, and Minerva gets first blood. Tower hits are well controlled as well. Just like that, KaBuM in the lead.
Yeah, so instantly as Gorilla leaves this top lane here and just lets Save sit and farm alone. Nice binding from Dance, and boom, Minerva is there, picks up the first blood. Very, very good start.
Let's see if they can actually defend this, though, because the 3 members looking for the dive. Danagorn in the area.
Oh, he's going to go in, gets the stun on Gorilla. Oh! In goes Danagorn. Have they got the hits? No, the tower's not trading. Safeguard comes across, tower hit goes and Watch. Zephyr going deep on this one. He's going to land one ulti shot. A second one will be off cooldown any second now. Doesn't land the first bomb. Black shield from Dance saves the day.
Dance, you are a hero once again here. Now let's see, down this bottom lane. NaJin white shield.
Look in the jungle. We're going to see in Tinones, he's going to find Goon, but I'm not too sure it's a trade he wants to get. Instead takes a Pix and Glitter Lance and will back off.
Let's take a look at this bottom turret. Looks like Zepha's got control of it, though. They don't want to go for that dragon. Took too much time tower diving past the turrets there. They can't overextend and get any objectives. Again, a good hold from KaBuM. Calling Danagorn there to try and defend it.
Oh, we're going to see him back away from now, and Dan's tried to creep around the side. But remember, it was a triple buff start, and Dan's is sneaking around to see if he can, Safe sneaking around to see if he can get a look. Has warded out that blue buff, so we may see an invade come out from NaJin White Shield next time around.
Some very deep wards as well here for White Shield, so they're expecting Danagorn to look towards this top lane. Sadly for KaBuM and Leb, he couldn't actually afford a Sheen when he went back. They didn't get like the instant burst from the Sheen, and therefore it's going to be slightly weaker in this lane. And Safe should actually be able to pull him around a bit, which also explains why the deep wards are here for Danagorn.
And look at this. This is the prep that we're talking about for the junglers with the pink wards. Punch of pinks coming down from NaJin White Shield over this blue. They had it pre-warded. They're planning on this, but no steal going to come in, no contest. They just got vision of Danagorn, and they can work around that information.
Was not a good trade for Minerva there. Zephyr landing everything he needed. The big bomb was ready as well. Gorilla going in once again. Aqua Prism used a moment ago. Will be off cooldown any second now. There's a dark binding though. Doesn't get baited into it this time. Minerva making sure he avoids the damage that Zephyr has already with that Sheen in lane.
Yeah, Dan's though saving actually Minerva a bit here in these trades because he's landing some very good bindings onto Zephyr, who doesn't have heal just yet. Minerva does, but he decided to go back to base anyway, and Dan is left alone down his bottom lane.
One of Corki's biggest points of power is right when he gets that level 6 and these missiles that he can fire out for the harass, combined with his Sheen, he immediately chases Minerva out of the lane here, timed with the big wave. A little bit of it will go down to this turret, but it looks like they will be able to defend it. Once again, calling Danagorn over so they can safely get this wave.
Still taking a lot of damage on this tower here. Minerva could actually have stayed in lane, waited for Danagorn to arrive, and then he could have gone back after picking up all these minions here. Because that tower just took about 25% damage.
Yeah, there's a lot of burst damage on it. We'll see whether he holds on. Did have to go back. No, wasn't feeling too confident. Wasn't aware really of that watch dive that possibly could come around again, but he's in the top lane. They have swept the wards out, but Lep, he's gone back, trying to build up towards that 24, so we'll see how quick he can get it, whether he can get going. One thing that is going on in this mid lane is KaBuM is started to bully Tinones a little bit here. Tinones keeping up in terms of farm. He is on a zillion after all, so not too hard, but every time he tries to get near one of those waves, we do see Glitterlance going straight towards him.
Yeah, and it's pretty much impossible for Cillian in the lane against a Lulu to actually kill him. So it's going to be a bit of a farm lane.
He got that level 6 with the Sheen completed for Lep. So even though he is down in CS, keeping up in experience because of the zillion on his team helps him out a lot.
And this is really the power spike we see from Aurelia pretty much every single game. Get your level 6, get your Sheen, and then you can start all-laning the enemy top lane, and he has to back away. Let's see what happens in mid lane.
He's already used the safeguard, gets across, doesn't manage to land the kick because KaBuM quickly pops the wild growth, turns it back around. In comes Watch on towards him. Tinones, has he already used the Chrono Shift? He has. He used it on himself. No, he just
very low.
Bomb on KaBuM. KaBuM takes a tower hit as well, but risky play by KaBuM there.
Yeah, and because he only lives because KaBuM missed the first Glitter Lance after Danagorn jumped in. Very, very risky, but they get out with their lives. Only cost them one wave shoved into the turret.
They're collapsing down the bottom lane. Watch is going to get spotted out by that pink ward. Dance tries his best to defend it, takes a Void Spike hit, but he holds it for now, and that will slow the collapse down and forces him away for now.
And once again, KaBuM doing a very good job in the early game. In the laning phase, got a lot of farm, especially on your AD carry and your mid laner. Like we've seen before, only slightly behind compared to NaJin Whiteshield, who, by the way, is a top 3 team in Korea. And KaBuM is doing well in this early game.
Absolutely representing Brazil right now. One of the few teams that didn't push towards picking up one of those Brazilian players. Of course, some of the top teams over there did. It's why they were held in such high regard when they qualified through.
Yeah, and the whole point of the wild card here, getting these teams exposure to these top Korean teams. You can see the evolution in their play just in this game throughout the group stages after those first 3 losses.
Well, it's just, I mean, outside of obviously the 6 group games that they're going to be playing, they've been practicing with these guys. They've been here in Singapore. They've been doing scrims with them. So it gives them so much experience, invaluable experience, honestly, that you're just not going to get sitting in your own region.
Of course not. I mean, they've been scrimming teams like Fnatic and Alliance, maybe even scrimming some of the Korean teams. Let's see Lebob in his top lane. He wants to all in again.
Well, that didn't quite work out for him. He went straight into a room prison and Save slowing that one down. Feeling very confident. We saw how strong Save can be on Rise already in this tournament. And it's something that I feel they're going to have to slow down.
And look at these pings on Lee Sin inside the jungle from NaJin Whiteshield, constantly tracking Danagorn. This is why he's had a hard time on the world stage jungling.
He's just not really been able to have the impact he wants to in the early game, in pretty much every single game we have seen. Only difference though for KaBuM now is Lep has actually been able to get a standard lane going where he didn't get ganked multiple times.
Oh, Lep's trying the trade once again with Save. Calming out just about equal, both popping their ultimate there. Lep doesn't want to get too close though. That room prison will back off cooldown. There's a dark binding thrown out. Watch getting caught out by that one. Dan's actually dodging out, using that black shield to prevent the Aqua Prison coming through. But nonetheless, the pink ward finally goes down. He's held on though well. He's had that down there for a good 5 minutes.
Yeah, we see this fight for this pink ward pretty often, and as long as you push down the bottom lane first, so you force the enemy AD carry to stay at his own tower, you can walk in and you can clear this pink ward because you know the AD carry is stuck down farming minions.
Tino's starting to feel pressure in this mid lane. Gung really putting it on him. Watch is coming around again, and he could be the difference in getting that first kill for NaJin White Shield. But you see Danagorn, he's on the red buff. Watch is just going to simply ward him back away, I think.
He was patrolling there, looking for the pink ward from KaBuM, trying to clear it out, but there was no pink ward in the back of the red. Circles back around the dragon, in time with taking the turret, and in time with the teleport now coming off a cooldown of save. This is all time for White Shield. Ready for save, but he has to back up from Aurelia. He's going to come.
Yeah, he's taking a lot of damage here also. Watch tanking the dragon. The rest of KaBuM is nearby. They're going in.
Danagorn's going in. He tries to catch on towards it. Goes in, gets the smite down. The hero of Brazil. Danagorn turns it around. Can they turn some of the kills around? Zephyr goes in with the bomb. That's not going to work out for him. Danagorn does finally go down. Tinos has to flash away from Gung. But nonetheless, a jungler going down for a Dragon Steel would be a great trade here. Gung is not giving up though. He's continued to follow through.
Nice
binding lands on towards him. The bomb almost killed Gorilla as he walked in there.
Look at the mid lane though here. White Shield can push it down. It will go down for sure. They got every single member from KaBuM so low after the fight. So you're trading now a kill for Dragon and a tower.
Neither top laner got involved in that one. Nonetheless, not a bad trade for KaBuM overall. It could have been much, much worse. Lep versus Save, though, is starting to become a bit of a gulfing class, I feel. 113 CS to 64. Obviously, all developed from that very early play that NaJin White Shield did to set him behind. But there really hasn't been much jungle presence in his top lane. They've let him go towards it. And Lep is just really fighting a massive losing battle right now.
Yeah, Watches kept track of Danagorn pretty much the whole game, and they had some very deep wards early on in that side of the jungle as well to make sure Save scaled up well. Now he's got his rod and his tier fully stacking. It's going to get worse for them from here on out because Corki is going to be able to help them ride straight on through with that Trinity Force. Hashtag KaBuM wins, still going strong.
Absolutely. Big support for KaBuM here, as we often do see for the ranked underdogs. But sadly for them, they are in a very tough group. They're going for save. In comes Danagorn. Can they 2v1 him? Or is he too strong at this point? They've got a lot of damage down on him. And Danagorn picks up the kill.
Nice setup here. Lep jumping in. He gets the stun onto save. He did have flash, but he couldn't react in time. KaBuM getting a kill.
Their ward coverage lapses, and Danagorn gets in for the kill. Nice pull-off, but that's just a single kill for KaBuM. Looks like he's going to shove it into the lane at least and get some damage onto the top turret. He hasn't gotten to put much work into it, though, so it's going to be a while before he's able to take it. Save does still have teleport, remember.
Watch is roaming around the jungle. Tower goes down. Nice work from Lep there. Of course, teleport was up for save, but he just didn't get out that death timer quick enough. Minerva trying to trade with Zephyr once again. Danagorn now back down this bottom lane. Watch and Gung, though, just above on the screen here. This could well be a 4-man dive from NaJin White Shield. They're going to play it right, though. With Tinones there, they've got that chrono shift to help them out. And wisely, NaJin White Shield step away.
It would have been an extremely risky dive from NaJin White Shield. There's teleport on both top laners as well to join in. But decides to play it safe and back away. And it's often the story for the teams actually facing KaBuM here at the World Championship. They play it very safe in the early game. Don't really want to go too aggressive against KaBuM because they actually respect the fact they can take a lead and snowball.
I mean, that being said, we are seeing the improvements here from KaBuM. The first time that they played NaJin White Shield, the game was over in 26 minutes, 39 seconds. But they've kept it even here all the way up till 17:30. So well on their way to a better mark.
This Ryze, however, is still going to be very scary in the top lane. I mean, it does take a bit of time to scale up, but once he gets to this point, Save can pretty much carry the entire game.
We'll see how it works out. Of course, we've seen overconfidence before from some of these teams. Save going to come around. I think he's going to ward and spot Dan straight away on top of his head. And Dan's and Danagorn. Dan not spotted, Dan's was. So they know that there's a support here, but they don't realize it's a 3v2. And that may well be Lep trying to bait them in. In come the rest of the team. Gorilla comes around the side. They're not expecting the Dans to come around, though. Doesn't get close enough to get one of those dark bindings on them, and it will be simply a case of who's got the biggest ulti to wipe the wave out.
So as soon as KaBuM actually saw Gorilla in the top lane, they probably expected Zephyr to be there as well, and instantly just backed away because they didn't actually know where he was on the map. And normally he would follow his support when they want to switch up to the top side and you have already killed the bot tower.
So look at Watch. He's been left alone down that bottom lane to get a wave while the AD carry himself, Zephyr, comes around. So looks like they're going to be using him to split push for a while, or at least hold that lane steady. Now Minerva's in there, but it does, of course, give NaJin White Shield a lot of time. Leb goes a bit deep on that one. Dodges out of the Aqua Prison. Tinones goes in, takes a blast from Save. And everybody holds onto the turret for now. NaJin White Shield again, backing away from this one. They don't want to risk a tower dive.
Yep, KaBuM hold top, and again, they've got Minerva down bottom answering the wave shove from Watch, so they get more money funneled into their Tristana. You mentioned NaJin White Shield. They've got the late game Rise, but KaBuM are all about funneling as much money as they can into Minerva. He's already got the Infinity Edge, a couple more items on top of that. Oh no!
He sees him, he's going for it. Can he get down Goong? There's a lot of damage going his way. I think that's more than he wished for. Tries to jump away. Rocket jumps out to safety. Fancied the trade though, Minerva. Yeah. he was the one that managed to put the Scrying Orb down and spot him out.
I mean, he wanted to fight. He spotted him out and he stayed there and wanted to fight. Didn't just jump away from the start.
I feel like that's a preview of things to come here. Minerva showing that he is not afraid to fight early, and we may see a Tristana hopping into fights here.
Well, he does have the Zillion, so he can be a bit aggressive, but he's still going to need a bit of time before he can take on Goong one-on-one.
Something that may be the saving grace for KaBuM, because they're effectively fighting a 6v5. May well just be enough. Lep goes deep once again, goes aggressive onto Save, backs away, doesn't really have the minion wave to get that lifesteal down, and Save pops his ultimate and blasts him away. Dark Binding doesn't land, and NaJin White Shield set up for the Dragon.
Let's see here, KaBuM, 4 members down here. Top laners does have teleport. No ulti for Lep, of course. Save should be up fairly soon. But now White Shield just keeping the vision control around this Dragon and want KaBuM to try and face check them. And
mid-game vision control has been one of the biggest strengths of NaJin White Shield in pretty much all of their wins. They've had so many more pink wards and so many more wards cleared than all of the teams that they've been facing.
Yeah, and also one of the reasons they really like this Corki pick is because you are so strong in the mid game. You can take these Dragons in the start, get the goal lead you need, and then use that once you get into late game when you have a carry like Rise in the top lane, get all this global gold in his pockets, and let him just control the game from there.
Blue buff going across the Tinones, finally the bomb goes off. And that will keep him ticking over nicely. Fell behind a little bit, of course, because he went for that tier. It will take a while to stack out for him. Meanwhile, Fancy, of course, going. Goog, sorry. Get the right team, the right country would help. Right lane as well. It's all over the place. He's going for the Rabadon's Death Cap, I feel.
And while, again, KaBuM is doing a great job actually keeping up in this early game, or early to mid game, NaJin White Shield is a team who is known for their late game power, and they're also known for taking it fairly easy in the early stages of the game and prefer farming and out-rotating the enemy team instead of just straight up kill them in early 5 versus 5s.
Sweeping out the wards. This is the time really where KaBuM have to be decisive, and where NaJin White Shield have absolutely took control over every single team they've faced, including Alliance when they had that 7,000 gold lead. NaJin White Shield absolutely knew what to do at this point. We can see Save all in his own down the bottom. Danagorn, oh, that was a Hail Mary of a Sonic Wave thrown out there to try and land on towards Zephyr. Wasn't going to happen though.
Who is going to come down here and answer Save? Because that is a very dangerous prospect right now. Level 13, highest level here for NaJin White Shield. Well, just tied with the other solo laner, no biggie.
It's going to be Minerva for now. He's happy to have those waves pushed into him, I feel. He's just going to get himself that free farm. He's keeping up with Zephyr so far. Save, though, lingering off of the side there. Got to be careful.
Oh, Minerva.
Just a cheeky bounce.
Hashtag KaBuM win.
Well, he's getting all the free farm down his bottom lane. As long as he stays under his own tower, he shouldn't actually die.
No, Danagorn doesn't get the reset, doesn't get the hit on it. Had to back away. Tinone's thought about going aggressive there, but comes back around and keeps him away.
Yeah, this is really where NaJin's biggest advantage is. You can see they're constantly trying to push the borders of their vision control into KaBuM's jungle, whereas KaBuM have had a really hard time even getting back up to the river. So that means pretty much all of the objectives are in shield territory, and they've been able to control the easy gold flow of the mid-map objectives.
And it's a scary thing. Every single team so far who faced NaJin Wild Shield had to realize they will take over your jungle. Top lane, everyone else from KaBuM just backed away, don't want to risk anything up here. Easy tower for Wild Shield.
Save's going down to block off as well. Minerva in the bottom lane. He has got the support this time of Dance. So we'll see whether Dance can sneak him in. Minerva's going to try and bait him, I think. We'll see whether it works out. The top wave, of course, is being pushed in. NaJin Wild Shield will take down that turret. Minerva just trying to take a couple more tower hits. Here comes Save on towards him. Black Shield quickly answers. Save doesn't want any of it just yet.
All right, outer turrets traded. Looks like both teams happy with their late game carries here. Minerva versus Save.
And on paper, that's a pretty unfair matchup. But Minerva has really been stepping up during this World Championship here. And the Analyst Desk was talking about it. We have talked about it in every single game. Him and Dance together in this bottom lane has been looking very, very solid.
Plus, if we do get super late game and, Triss can get up to that level 18, the extra range is going to do wonders for KaBuM versus this NaJin Wild Shield team. And it will have to be some flashes in from Save to try and create something. That being said, Save is definitely known for his ability to flank around you and pull off one of those engagements because NaJin Wild Shield control the wards so well.
Cool. And Co are heading down towards the bottom. They're taking control of the lower half of the jungle. Whoa, Minerva out of position a little bit there. Takes himself a tower hit, quickly shields that off, blocks all of the damage. But NaJin Wild Shield, I think they've finally realized this is our time to shine. Oh, Tin Owens goes too deep, calling the Aqua Prisons. Is he going to get the Chrono Shift down in time? Oh, got it! About comes out of the picks in time to get that down. He must have been hammering that Arcane.
So much CC from Wild Shield. The bubble first into the Whimsy. Tidal Wave wasn't used by Gorilla here, so saved one of them at least in case there will be a fight. But once again, Wild Shield can take the red buff. It is their jungle here. KaBuM only controls their own lanes.
Minerva keeps them away from the tower for now, but it may well be the middle. They're going to rotate through. KaBuM once again. Oh, they're all out of position here. No Chrono Shift this time around. He's going to get locked up. Is it going to be enough to heal him out there? Can't so shield through that one. Danagorns go deep on it. Oh my lord, he shouldn't be jumping in that strong when your mid laner has just dropped down. And KaBuM, well, they keep them away for now. There's no minion wave, so they're trying to tank it out. Here comes the conga line. Minerva has to clear this one out as quick as possible. He's got himself the static shift, so he should be able to wipe the wave out quickly. Could we see a tower hit towards Zephyr? Left thought about it for a moment, goes in. Goom just ballsily teleports away and Save. Well, he's getting all the free time in the world on this bottom lane.
Ooh, they are going to collapse down through the jungle, but there's plenty of wards that Shield set up previously, so Save has an exit route. Another minion wave crashes into the turret too, so slowly but surely, Shield's chipping away at these turrets, middle and bottom.
All right, let's see it again. So Tinnos, he doesn't actually have an ulti here, and he decides to run into KaBuM, so he's in a terrible situation from the start, and very last hit will actually take him down.
Then we have the Danagorn engage, trying to get in there. I believe he was trying to dragon kick back, but he still had it. But once again, flash away. Save him. Here's those river objectives that we were talking about. Covered by the vision from Shield. Another easy pickup.
And we just have to notice how Wild Shield plays with the lead. They will always start slow pushing one lane, and then they will have Save in the other side lane, and then in the mid lane they can have the 4 members. And it simply means every single lane is pushing down. It means you have vision in every single lane as well, and you can just rotate between these towers easily to take them if KaBuM is not ready to defend in time.
Oh, Minerva, are they going to stick around? They are going to keep pushing. Zephyr's gone up to meet him. I'm not sure if they realize Dance is off to the side because there is no vision this time around. Are they going to hang around? Are they going to hope? But look at Gung, he's collapsing in towards him. Uh-oh, this spells trouble for Minerva. Is he going to back away in time? I think he has. He's got back to base.
Long
was close.
Long gone here. I like how Dance is just following Minerva around here. You have this back up Morgana every time.
That just drew 3 members of NaJin Wild Shield straight towards the top, which has given a bit of free time down the bottom. And look at Danagorn sneaking in towards that. Gung also coming around. They're going to try and chase on Tin Owens. They're drawing him away. Two members, though, down in this bottom bush. They're going to jump on Save. Is it going to be enough in a 2v1? Has Save powered up enough? That's the question. Danagorn taken low. They don't want to get too near it. They realize the rest of NaJin's shield. They're coming down the river. Tinones comes to join them, but KaBuM have to back away from this one. In goes Watch on towards Left. Left tries to turn it back around. They get the Chrono Shift on towards him. Save locks on. That's going to be Danagorn going down, and NaJin White Shield claps perfectly to close out the kill.
So you said they were going down for this sneaky gank bottom, but look at this cheeky ward in the little bush up by the secondary turret from Shield. They saw him going to the lane.
Oh, Dans cannot get away from that one. Zephyr comes around the side, picks himself up another kill, or the first one on the board for him. Now they also have a wave to take down the turret, so not only do they get the 2 kills, they get themselves a big, juicy inner tower.
Yeah, we see the death timers already being about the 30-second mark, because we're actually 29 minutes into the game. Not been a lot of action, but just been a lot of objectives taken by Shield and KaBuM as well, trying to respond with towers every single time they had the chance. Instantly, though, 2 towers fall in favor of White Shield.
That's the problem. Once they do fall, they're set up like dominoes, and just NaJin White Shield tumble them across the board. They're all going to go back, got themselves a chunk of gold, and get themselves that step ahead in items with that 6,500 gold lead.
And that is just the hard part again. When you're playing against Shield, if you lose one fight, you know every single lane is going to be pushed up to your tower. So you saw them take this bot lane tower, instantly the new mid lane was open, just walk straight in there, kill another tower, and they punish you so hard if you get caught out of position and lose a team fight.
Yeah, it's going to be hard for KaBuM right now. They're losing so much map control. That they do have a Morgana on their team, and when we saw upset, a lot of them were off of support plays, a thresh hook, catching a key member of the opposing team off guard. If KaBuM get some sort of strong roam with the numbers advantage, and they hit one of these key bindings, there is still that hope that they can catch somebody, kill a carry, and come back into the game.
I mean, they have some good single target bursts. You have Tristana here. You can take down a target very, very fast. And Dance has been pretty on point with his binding so far. Just not been able to do it in terms of a team fight. It's been more just him and Minerva running together.
Yeah, and as we've been over several times, Dance, you know, that shot caller, moving from AD carry down to support. If they are going to group up and try and make a play off one of these bindings, he's the one to make the call.
Saw Frozen Heart being stacked up by Save. Dan's being chased on. Lieutenants, they're going to try and turn this one around. Goong's the focus. Have they got enough? Danagorn just locked up there.
Uh-oh, here comes Zephyr.
Is going to come out, but I'm not too sure he can safeguard to anyone. He tries desperately to come on the way. Flash, the wave catches 3 members of KaBuM. Zephyr comes around the side, gets 1, gets 2, tries to chase on towards the 3rd, on towards Dance. Dance taken so low, he may even get dropped here. One more shot, there's the triple. He continues through, gets himself the quadra kill. A great style for Zephyr.
Yep, and that is going to be an inhibitor turret and the inhibitor here for NaJin White Shield. NaJin White Shield, they get into the base, doors wide open.
Maybe even more here. I mean, can it take a Nexus turret as well? There's still 20 seconds for KaBuM here. Otherwise, we can see White Shield just go straight for Baron.
Well, they've got the big wave. They are going to back away. It is going to be the Baron, it seems, as they run straight towards there. Everybody's pretty much topped off in health, and of course, a whole stack of ultimates left, because it was Zephyr that just single-handedly ran through the team.
Yeah, Gorilla with a huge Nami wave. 3 knockups interrupting 2 jumps. Great catch there for Shield.
So Baron goes down. NaJin White Shield turn on the power. And this has been their power, really. That once they hit that 20-25 minute mark, they just take control of the map. And it seems teams are helpless. Danagorn once again out of position this time. He's in trouble. Save, gets kicked, tries to use it. No! One last save will take him down.
Fancy moves though by Danagorn here. White Shield should probably just go back and spend all the gold they have. I mean, they got some towers, they got the Baron, they won the last team fight. There's some very, very fit members on this White Shield team.
All right, let's take another look at this. They had Goong in what they thought was a good position here, but 4 members. And because they focus all this onto Danagorn and they get the Zillion ult out, by the time Zephyr arrives, it's pretty much cleanup duty here. This time around, it's Zephyr flanking and not Save. And he actually is the one diving forward to pick up an extra kill with that red buff. Oh, there it is.
That's a flash for it. But that wave was absolutely impeccable by Gorilla. The fact that he was around the side as well, he wasn't even close to being involved in the fight. He just knew the length that ultimate would run and just saw the devastation that it would pull on towards them. KaBuM, they can't defend this turret. They have to back away because Gorilla and Watch are flanking around the sides.
Yeah, I think Gorilla definitely deserves that Medjai after that play. Ooh, whoa, he's done.
Oh, he's gone. Oh, the shield. Oh, still not enough. Zephyr just burns through him that red buff. Doing work. Zephyr honestly has been impeccable in this group. We saw yesterday, of course, he picked up those 16 kills. He's going in once again. Soul Shackles from Dance. He doesn't care about that one. Forces them away from the inhibitor turret. And that is the second one that will tumble. And NaJin White Shield now, they are just driving through KaBuM's base.
It's just like what you get yesterday on Corki as well. I mean, you can almost 1v5 the game when you become so fit on Corki. Let's see what he can do. Down to this bottom lane. Safe might want to join the party.
Absolutely. That's going to be the third inhibitor turret of the game. I think right now KaBuM are simply spectators in this game. Just figuring out how exactly it all went wrong, because at the 17.5 minute mark, he said it was just 100 gold differential between the two, but just the teams know exactly what to do at that moment. We talked about the power spike from Save as well. That was imminent danger for KaBuM. With these Nexus turrets and super minions coming on through, it seems that NaJin White Shield, with the wave rolling on through, will close out this game. The Nexus is the final thing to fall. KaBuM forced onto the fountain. They are being driven away by the Korean powerhouse. The number 3 seed, NaJin White Shield, are looking incredible in the group phase.
Oh yeah, they deserve to be at the top of the table in this group. Still haven't dropped a game here. And we got to see, us and KaBuM, firsthand, the impeccable ward coverage from that mid-game, how they push it up step by step, take objective after objective, switching between outer turrets whenever there's an opening.
It's all about their slow pushing of the minions, and every single time you push in one lane, you know you can quickly go to the next lane and take the minion.